All right. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be talking about leverage and all concepts around that. I've been meaning to make a lot more content for you guys recently. Life has just happened. You know what it is. We're down here in the kitchen. I thought we would switch things up. We're using the camera. I'm going to be talking kind of off the cuff here. So we're just going to talk about whatever comes to mind around leverage, building a social media business, self-improvement, and how everything comes together as a business. Let's jump right in. We're going to start with the idea of leverage as a whole. Here's the thing. So we're going to break down a little bit of an analogy, right? There's the man who works 80 hours a year. He makes $200,000 at his investment banking job, right? He does pretty well. He's well off. $200,000 a year is a fantastic amount of money, but here's the thing. The trade-off is he's working 80 hours a week. You don't really have much of a social life if you're working 80 hours a week. Now let's take another example. The digital entrepreneur. He makes anywhere from maybe $65,000 a year. He works maybe 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe 20, somewhere in that upper echelon. But he makes $65,000 a year, only working that much time, and his business is entirely remote. Who do you think has more leverage in this analogy here, right? Now, most of you are entrepreneurial minded, and that's kind of where you come from as a background. In my audience, if you're brand new, maybe you have no idea who has more leverage here, but obviously what we're discussing is the entrepreneur who works 10, 20 hours a week and makes $60,000 to $65,000 a year, because maybe he's not making as much money, but he's able to travel. He works way less. He has much more time for himself, and the actual abilities that he can execute on, there's so much more time for him to live his life than there is for the guy who's working as an investment banker who makes $200,000 a year. But the trap that is so easy to fall into, and I've even seen it myself in my own life, is getting caught up in the societal norms of, working those traditional paths and letting your ego become attached to those things. We don't necessarily want that if our goal is to be able to pursue personal excellence through entrepreneurship. We want to have our time back. We want our money to work for us. We want to be able to accomplish all sorts of things. And leverage is crucial in instances like this because it really comes down to what you want to do with your life. Now, if investment banking is your goal in life and that's what you want to go out and accomplish, and you're like, I'm dead set on becoming an investment banker, more power to you. But here's the thing. Here's the content. Here's the piece of advice for leverage for you who are watching this that actually wants to build something that is different from the normal path. And this is currently what I'm on. I'm documenting that progress. I'm teaching everything to you guys. That's why you're watching this video here. We're breaking down leverage in depth. Leverage. How do we go about building something that allows us to input as low as 10 to 20 hours a week, maybe a little bit more? Sometimes you're going to have to give more, right? It's important to have those phases and seasons of your life where you're working like an investment banker. But in my opinion, the cycles of life where you have bursts of intensity, 30 days where you're working nonstop, and then a month, 2 weeks off where you can do whatever you'd like and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I think that is one of the best ways to actually go about living. I'm in the process of building that myself. It's something I'm extremely passionate about. And I strongly believe social media is the best way in this day and age to build leverage in a business like that. So let's talk about how to actually build leverage, because we could talk about this fantastic concept all day here and there, and you're going to get lost in the details of whatever, okay? We need to talk about the actual concepts of building leverage. Now, I love social media as a business. It is the most beneficial thing. And I'm going to be talking about this in regards to turning self-improvement, your own learning, and your own education into a business. Now, if you haven't gone out and accomplished anything, maybe you don't understand where I'm coming from with this. That's totally fine. Just sit back, just listen, keep a lot of this stuff in mind, take notes, and let's talk about it. So there is certain skills in your life that you tend to be exceptional at. Maybe you're really good at coffee making. Maybe you are so passionate about planting plants. Maybe you're really good at developing your upper chest. I don't know. Maybe you're good at sales. There is so much in your life that there's one specific skill that you go out of your way to research on your own, that you have more knowledge than the average person on. And that skill is what you would be turning into a high leverage business, okay? So whatever skill came to mind, that's probably the first one you need to think about for developing a business like this. It doesn't matter what the skill is. You can turn pretty much anything into profit with this business system I'm going to break down for you here, because it turns into leverage. So we're going to take the analogy of sales, because I think that's a super easy one to build off of. It is a high income skill. People are much more likely to spend more money to learn sales because you can make a lot of money in sales. So it's a good skill to go off of. The analogy I like to use in what skill you should choose, let's say, you're really good at making cake. Not to say you can't make a business about making cake and do well, but it's going to be significantly more difficult because you're trying to sell people recipes on how to make the best cake. There's a trade-off there. You may make the best cake ever, but the guy who's really good at sales can charge a lot more money for a product or service based around sales when you can't even really make a service around cake. I mean, you can, but cake you can't charge thousands of dollars for. That's kind of the analogy here. So let's talk about sales, right? Let's say your skill set is sales. You're phenomenal at closing. You've been doing it for 2-3 years. You market research all the time in your free time. You watch videos about sales over and over again. You're at least, you're a level 6 compared to the average person who's maybe a level 0 or a level 1 in sales. Now, there is a huge market of young guys our age who want to learn sales, right? You yourself have that level 6, maybe it's a level 3, wherever you land at, you have more knowledge than the average person in sales. Therefore, you are more qualified to teach that skill to an audience. This is where that leverage piece comes into play. Now, the traditional marketing business model is you had to develop your product, spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours, and years and effort to create a product and post it onto not even post it, to get it marketed by TVs, radio shows. I don't know, back in the day, they only had radio and you could only listen to a radio show podcast. Now there is so much more leverage that you can have with a business to where you can post content and discuss the problems that people can face when learning your business or your skill. So when you are actually building this digital leverage, when you post content around your skill, you're going to go into specifics of how you solved distinct problems to get better at your skill. As you start to post content about that, you'll attract an audience. When you post educational content, you attract an audience who's much more likely to purchase and buy things because they want to learn whatever that skill is that you're teaching about. This is where the leverage concept comes into play. You can post a TikTok video, an Instagram video, YouTube short, whatever. You could post a YouTube video, and that piece of digital data goes out there, stays on the media space permanently, unless you delete it yourself or it gets deleted, whatever. But it goes out there and it stays there permanently as an asset that consistently brings in views. Now, short form videos will work a little different after about a day or two. They kind of get less and less views. But YouTube videos, for example, you could post that and it becomes an asset for life. I have a YouTube video on here, which, you can go watch it yourself, from a past skill that I was teaching, which was about fitness, and it's sitting at about 2,000 views. It's my most high viewed video, and it's an entire breakdown of how to get in shape and build a physique that you're proud of in a minimalist time frame. And it's a digital asset that has so much leverage because I made it one time. It goes out there and it stays out there forever, and it's constantly working. Now, I'm not running that offer anymore. I am personally building a business now around teaching people how to turn their niche ideas and skills into a business, and that's what this video is about. By the way, if you're finding this interesting at all and it's helping you, go click the link below. I have a program in which you can go and join. There's tons of videos that are going to be in there teaching you how to develop your skills into a business using organic content, building a high leverage business like this. You will be able to get results in very, very fast of a time frame. I'm in the process of building it right now, so it's discounted. Go check it out in the link below. Let's jump back in. So building leverage. You're posting this content. Most people at the beginner level, all they're doing is just posting content that's educational maybe. It's mostly inspiration, but their content is just going out there and isn't actually changing people. This is where building leverage becomes such a different ballgame because you have to learn how to distinctly hit on pain points that people are dealing with in order to actually turn your prospects into buyers. That's where you start to learn copywriting. That's where you start to learn sales. That's where you begin to learn a lot of different skills. But as you're taking your skill, we're talking about sales here still as an offer and building leverage around that. You create content which goes out there, stays on the digital marketplace permanently, and brings in viewers for you while you sleep. That is leverage. Now, what you have to do from there is build I personally recommend a digital product. Some people like services, coaching, consulting, stuff like that. You could build different things like that. Those things work, but my personal preference is building a digital product in which you package up, you could package up your skill into a digestible piece of content and upload it into something like School or Stan Store, Kajabi, multiple websites like that in which you can package up your ideas into a short videos or into a set of videos that people can go watch, and then they can learn that skill and then actually get much better at the skill themselves. And it's a valuable piece of content, and that's education, that's leverage, that's a piece of product that works for you 24/7, that this product can never sell out unless you decide to stop selling it. There's an infinite amount you can get out there. It's always working 24/7, and it doesn't take time away from you to go and put into it. And that's how you build a business that only takes about 10 to 20 hours of work a week, because you build your digital product, right? And in there it has a ton of value. Then all you have to do is drive traffic to it by creating content. This content can sit 24 hours a day, work for you constantly, and bring in traffic for your business. It really only takes maybe 2 hours to crank out 3 to 4 short form videos, and then another hour or so, maybe half an hour to create a long form video. You can create the ecosystem, and I'll make another video about how to create content ecosystem. Comment down below if you want a content ecosystem, basically how to structure the funnel properly. But all of these pieces of content are working for you 24/7 and bringing in clients and getting you a business while you sleep. This gives you time to go out and live your life. This is the easiest pathway to get to 5K a month, 10K a month, 100K a month and beyond, because the more views you start to get, the more leverage that you build and build and build with these businesses, the more you start to get that ball rolling. And the fantastic thing, you could be an absolute beginner, right? Let's say you start posting on TikTok. Beginners can easily get to 500 views every single video. And 500 views is dog water on TikTok right now. 500 views times 3 times a day. All you got to post 3 times a day. It's not hard. 1,500 views a day. Multiply that by 7. Boom. 10,000 views at the end of each week times 4. That is 42,000 people a month who see your content, and that's you posting absolutely terrible bottom tier content that only gets 500 views. That means your content sucks, but you can only get better and better from there. This is the absolute baseline. 42,000. How many of those people do you think you could convince to buy your product, giving them actual testimonials that you know the skill you're talking about? It's not hard to convert at least one person out of 42,000 a month, but you'll get better and better with that with time. So if you guys enjoyed this video, check out the group I have below. It's called the Funnel Collective. Like I said, again, it is the fastest route to building digital leverage like this. It'll have everything in there. It's discounted right now because it hasn't been launched yet, but if you're interested in it, go check it out. Would love to get some feedback on that product. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Just wanted to sit down, give you guys some real talk and talk about digital leverage because it's something I'm so passionate about. I am trying to get into posting 2 times a week, so you guys should see another video very soon. Like and subscribe. Only like and subscribe if you actually got value from this content. If you thought this video was useless and it didn't help you at all, don't like and subscribe. But if you did, that's the trade I'm offering you, is like and subscribe, because I put in work for you to give you knowledge from my brain. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.